Why do the male lead's parents stand up and watch TV? Why didn't my father wipe his nose even if he had nosebleeds? Do you think it's strange? Of course it's weird. The male lead also felt very strange when he saw this scene when he returned home. The male lead walked to his daughter's room. It's strange for my daughter to sit on a stool in the middle of the night. Everyone, today, I bring you my sister, who has been missing for 25 years, back home. All the family members became strange invaders. The film stars Song Jiaxiao and Jin Wulai. It all starts with the male lead's wife having a car accident. My wife has been hit and killed for 6 months now. The police still found nothing. The male lead has no choice but to be handcuffed by the police. I want to find the killer by hypnotizing myself. But in hypnosis, every time the car hits my wife, the screen will suddenly jump. A balloon slowly floated up into the sky. The male lead sees a little girl standing in front of the carousel. He walked over. The male lead woke up with a start again. This is not the first time. Every time at this time, I suddenly wake up. Who the hell is this little girl? One day, the male lead received a call from the welfare home, mentioning the incident where the male lead and his sister got lost at an amusement park 25 years ago. It said that my sister, who has been missing for 25 years, has been found. At this point, we can guess. The little girl wearing a wooden horse chain is the male lead's sister. The male lead and his sister are arranged in a coffee shop. My sister told the male lead her foster parents are very kind to her, but she passed away, and he only learned from his will that he was a lost child, brought home by his adoptive parents in the park. The male lead has just experienced the pain of losing his wife. Not much joy in finding my sister. Instead, it's very rational to request a parent-child test first. My sister agreed, and the identification shows a blood relationship of 99%. It seems that this is really my own sister. Parents are so happy to find their long-lost daughter at the dining table. Resolutely let my sister move back home. The male lead's daughter is not happy anymore. To be frank, without an aunt, she only wants her mother. The poor little girl didn't know that her mother had passed away. The male lead is afraid of his daughter's sadness, so tell my daughter that my mother has gone to Canada. My sister is not angry when she sees her little daughter like this. I even made a dumpling for her. My sister claims to work in a hospital. Please ask the male lead and his family to help carry the luggage. A little nurse deliberately walked over, praising my sister for her exceptional ability and diligence. This makes the male lead's parents have a strong liking for their younger sister. But the male lead always finds something strange. On this day, the male lead is busy and cannot pick up his daughter from school. Just call the kindergarten. As a result, I heard that my daughter had already been taken away by my sister. But the younger daughter clearly doesn't like her younger sister. I don't know when it will start. The daughter is unusually fond of her younger sister. Sister braids her little daughter. A picky little girl who doesn't like sweet peppers. His younger sister married him, and he didn't even dislike criminals at all. I really like it. Lin Yipeng's mother also said, one more person has changed so much. My younger sister said that there will be more changes in the future, which makes my spine feel cold after listening to it. The male lead is concerned about losing his sister when he was a child. I have always been blaming myself, so I don't want to face my sister. But seeing my sister change so much for the family, just started communicating with my sister. Say some polite things like, hard work. My sister smiled strangely and said, you have to talk to him. Such. A few weeks at night my legs were cramped. The male lead knew immediately that something was wrong. He went to the psychologist who hypnotized him last time, tell him about his sister's weirdness. The doctor said that the male lead hasn't seen his sister for many years, plus the death of his wife. That's why I'm so paranoid. Finished prescribing medicine for the male lead. Instruct the male lead to eat. The male lead also doubts whether he is really mentally abnormal. That day, the male lead still listened to the doctor's advice, took that medicine. When I went downstairs, I found a stranger at home, supporting one's own mother to help pay for health. The male lead is very strange. Ask the nanny. The nanny said that this person came 2 days ago. It's a physical therapist. Just treat it. But the behavior and demeanor seem very intimate. This has caused dissatisfaction from the male lead, but I didn't say anything either. The male lead lingers in the living room at night. But by chance, I saw a strange totem tattoo on the back of my sister wearing a suspender. Now the male lead's suspicion has become even heavier, especially asking the nanny to pay more attention to her sister. The next day, the male lead is preparing to take his daughter to learn square dance. Enhance your elegant temperament. My sister rushed out, proposed that he take her. The male lead just wants to refuse. The phone rang. It's from the police. No way. I can only let my sister take my daughter there. The nanny suddenly walked over and said, let's go together, go shopping by yourself, and gave the male lead a look. It means I'm here. Don't worry. The male lead left with peace of mind. Arriving at the police station, the male lead only knows. Turns out she's in charge of her own whiff's case, and she's been replaced. The newly taken over officer Joe told him, The driving recorder at that time found it. But if it's broken, I'll tell you after it's fixed. This is a good thing. The representative case has made progress. But the sister on the other side is not very lucky. A man is eating Yankton noodles. He looked up and happened to see his sister. So he chased after him crazily. Chinese style is one step late. The nanny in the elevator asked her sister, "Do you know the man just now?" Sister quickly said she didn't know each other, and take a step forward with an excuse. My sister hid in the underground parking lot. However, he was still caught by a man. The man asked his sister, "Line, you sign someone first. Show me him to eat. Work hard, work hard. Teacher girl left him at home." "Right," he said. "And my cousin?" My sister said it was in the car. Then, return to the elevator. Sister is lying on the armrest panting heavily. However, the elevator stopped. The nanny and little daughter walked in. The nanny saw a scar on her panicked sister's neck. They came to the parking lot to go home. Something seems to be happening ahead. The nanny insists on going to see what's going on. But I saw the man chasing my sister. There's no need to think about the man's death. Related to my sister. The nanny was very nervous all the way in the car. My sister suddenly stopped. "Just tell the nanny later. Because of you. I want to follow that knot. I'll just drive it." The nanny disappeared the next day. He wrote a message and asked his sister to bring it back. My sister took advantage of the nanny and her man running away. This is completely an IQ tax. But parents actually completely believe in the male lead. Of course not. He went to the police station to report the case. But Officer Ju told him, only relatives can report the case. No way. They watched the recorder they had repaired. Unexpectedly discovered my sister's figure. But at that time he didn't even know his sister. My sister appeared at the scene of my wife's car accident. Is this a coincidence? So the male lead couldn't wait to find a psychologist to hypnotize again. This time, the male lead clearly saw the faces of his sister and the killer. He started frantically searching for evidence. I found the nurse who praised my sister before, under the pressure of the male lead. The little nurse told the truth. He's not even a nurse. At that time, I was just following orders. The male lead found evidence. Bring the nurse's photo back home. Exposed my sister's lie in person. Unexpectedly, my sister knelt down directly, but selling vegetables crazily, and of course, parents are helping their younger sister. My father directly cursed the male lead, making him a bloody dog, and threw the male lead's medicine on the ground. At this point, the doctor prescribed the mental secret medicine to the male lead. The male lead is speechless now. Mother was so angry that she had a nosebleed, fainted and hospitalized. The male lead controlled himself. Outside the ward, the male lead apologized to his sister, and said he shouldn't suspect him. And then one of my sister's hair was taken away. It is true that it belongs to the chicken thief. It's difficult to follow the hair for a DNA, and the male lead went to the police station again. The victim of the underground parking lot case is a representative IT company, Damao. Due to the lack of monitoring in the parking lot, the male lead and Officer Ju can only check the elevator's surveillance. The male lead is watching his sister in the surveillance elevator. Tell Officer Ju that this woman may not be her own sister. Officer Ju also became suspicious. So I came to the man's house. Now the nanny brought tea and dim sum. Sister doesn't eat when she sees Officer Ju. Obvious loss on the face. Crying and complaining that the male lead has been taking psychotropic drugs for a long time, and my father suddenly appeared as a witness. Now Officer Ju has become more convinced. The one who thinks there's a problem should be the male lead. One day, the male lead was preparing to take his daughter home. Unexpectedly, the teacher told him, the youngest daughter has already been taken away by his aunt. The male lead rushed home in a frenzy. My parents are sitting stiff at home. What are the two employees communicating in sign language? The only thing I'm angry about is my cunning sister with a strange smile. The male lead went upstairs to find the youngest daughter. Daughter facing the window. The atmosphere is extremely eerie. The daughter has learned the news of her mother's death from her brother. He angrily questioned the male lead. White lies are exposed. Unable to bear it anymore, he went downstairs and hit his sister. But the mother appeared in time to stop the male lead. The male lead wants to take his daughter out of this house. But the daughter didn't want to bite the male lead. The male lead accidentally threw his daughter to the ground due to pain. The daughter hurriedly ran to her aunt and cried. That night, the male lead was provoked by his sister. He grabbed his sister. This is the reason that made him let go of his sister's sleep at night. The male lead woke up with a loud thunder, as if there were several figures standing by the bed. The male lead got up in fear and went to the living room. He felt that the figure was still following him. He picked up a knife and waved it recklessly, unaware that everything had been captured by surveillance cameras. The man was frightened. He picked up a knife and waved it in the living room. Then he saw that the totem tattoo on the back of the new babysitter was exactly the same as that on the back of his sister. The next day, the male lead asked the psychologist. The doctor insisted that it was a male lead's illusion. At this moment, someone called to tell the male lead, saying someone in their family. The light is on. The male lead has already moved to his parents' house with his daughter. How could there be anyone in the original house? Male lead, hurry up and check it out. Suddenly discovered the body of a woman lying in the bathtub. At this point, the previous nanny scared the male lead to the ground and collapsed. The male lead who woke up was already tied to a chair. He found the man in front of him very familiar. The male lead remembered. This is the real culprit he saw knocking his wife down during hypnosis. How can the former male lead not be angry when he sees the murderer? He struggled frantically, but to no avail. I also had nosebleeds. At this time, the killer mentioned something interesting. Someone. Red sister. A thing. Unable to afford. Wow. There is a reasonable explanation for all the strange plots in front of this family. It turned out that the parents' strange behavior was all due to the warm reminder given by their sister during the meal. Using drugs, truly loving life. The male lead finally understands everything. This man, including his sister, and 2 employees at home, is a cult believer. They will choose the child who follows up as the deceased in their underground garage. Damaya's child was kidnapped by his sister, but that girl made herself bleed, becoming an unclean child. So they decided to find a clean child again. So I targeted the male lead's daughter. The male lead is about to take action on his own daughter. This still requires a fierce operation like a tiger. I was blinded by the killer, hurrying home. But I found out that Officer Ju was also there. This time it's the male lead's turn to be confused. I didn't expect my sister to be fine long ago. All villains report first. Officer Ju, take out the surveillance. The video shows the male lead falling and his daughter hitting his sister. And there's also a scene of wielding a knife in the living room. This surveillance was installed by a psychologist. So the doctor and sister are a group. Be cautious when making friends on Five Forks. Men are mainly regarded as neurotic. The doctor hurriedly said that there was an identical tattoo behind them. And my sister was really ready to take off in public. Wait for the police to stop you in time. They believed that the younger sister and male lead were being escorted and frantically explained. He asked Officer Ju to take a look at his own home, but Officer Ju sent someone over to the male lead's married home. But the male lead doesn't have anything at home. The male lead is in a hurry. He suddenly grabbed Officer Ju. The vehicle lost control and crashed into the railing. The male lead got out of the car, stopped another free ride on the road. I didn't expect this to be a car belonging to a cult organization, and a person appeared in the back seat of the car, curbed the male lead's neck. 3 people fighting together. The male lead is eager to save the female. Small universe explosion. Solved both of them. He went straight to the cult's lair. Finally caught up with my sister in the small forest at dawn. Directly stabbed the male lead with a knife. The male lead was injured, but he said he wouldn't say anything about it. As long as you leave my family now. Of course my sister wouldn't listen to him say she used to be a clean child, and making the male lead's daughter the next clean child is his mission. As he spoke, he stabbed the past again. Despite the entanglement between the two, the younger sister still fell behind. The younger sister began to pursue a romantic path. I can still express my brother Ziyej's emotions and reasoning. He said that the balloon that floated away in the past was blue, and no one except my sister and the male lead knew about it. At the moment when the male lead met the little girl left my family, and my younger sister was startled to hurry up to frequent mountain tours. At this moment, the male lead suddenly rushed out, holding on to my daughter. My sister sees this and wants to push the male lead down. However, the male lead made a magnificent turn. My sister fell down instead. The male lead told his sister that the color of the balloon was yellow. Many people do it. This is mine. The big sophora tree on the mountain. That's it. Do you have a bullet train with you? What is love? The male lead and daughter hugged each other. Finally, everything came to light. My sister's cult has also been exposed by the media. The family has regained their usual calm, but the mother still often thinks of her younger sister in her heart. Everyone can. He may be. Even if a mother knows that her younger sister is not real, also willing to take it seriously. The genetic test results of the male lead, holding his sister's hair at the end of the film, calmly put it into the grinder. The male lead chooses not to watch. Maybe it's because I already knew in my heart that this is not my sister, or perhaps afraid of the outcome. So I chose not to look. No matter which outcome it is, it no longer matters. This movie talks about cults, drugs, and family relationships. These are all highlights. I also hope that the friends in front of the screen cherish their family relationships. Stay away from drug cults. This is a great suspense thriller. Interested friends can take a look.